How's it going, people? Figured I'd hit a few things that hit the news that I figured, yeah, deserve to be mentioned. Ron Paul, for one. You gotta hand it to him and his supporters. Talk about knocking one out of the park. Over $4 million in one day. I got a feeling the Republican Party is gonna remember the 5th of November for a long motherfucking time. Considering Ron Paul just broke the record for the most money earned in one day from the Republican side of the equation, considering the Republicans are in the back pocket of the corporations. No, that's not saying nothing little. That's one hell of an accomplishment. Like I said, my hat goes off to the Ron Paul supporters. Talking about knocking one out of the park. How about Kucinich? Kucinich brings impeachment to the floor. Oh, you got to hand it to the Democrats, though. What a way to play that one. How do you get impeachment back on the table when Pelosi has said it's off the table? You have Kucinich bring it up. Then you say you want to bury it. As soon as better yet, you announce it from Fox News as a Democrat. You want it buried. That tells a Republican right there, oh, bring it up, vote yes, vote yes, vote yes. Oh, and that's what every single one of them did. The Democrats at the end of that one come back over and bigger than shit. Burying it doesn't happen. The Republican Party wants to debate it for about an hour. That's what they figured that they could do. They figured they could force it a discussion on the floor and make fun of the Democrats for an hour, trying to call Bush a liar, which we all know Bush is a liar anyway. So either which way, it would have been winning strategy. And kudos to Kucinich for even getting it as far as it's got. Well, anyway, bottom line of that story, it's impeachment is in the news. No matter which way it pans out, at least the discussion's there. Then you got Pakistan. Pakistan, that was predictable, though. Do you honestly think this administration and this country at this point in time want anybody in the Middle East electing their own leaders at this? No. Like 9% of the population in Pakistan likes America. So you can imagine if they were allowed to vote right now, what kind of government they would elect. So needless to say, this administration's behind the little military overthrow dictatorship in Pakistan. Like that wasn't what it was to begin with. So that's all smoke and mirrors, and this administration deliberately squashing democracy. They learned their lesson with Palestine. They tried to force a vote there. The people voted. The only problem is the people voted for Hezbollah. And that's where that whole debacle is at. So needless to say, this administration had everything to do with what's going on in Pakistan right now. And that's why they'll never cut off funding for that shit. Because in their eyes, they see worst case scenario, civil war. And the way these guys look at it on the Republican side of the equation, they're like, oh, the sand niggers just kill each other. Who cares? Let him go rogue. We can control him. It's one guy. That's what a lot of people don't realize. If this administration allowed Pakistan to vote for their own government, they actually might get honest people in there. They actually might force America to, face up to some of the shit it's pulled over there. Best case for this administration is to allow a military dictatorship to exist, because that way you only got one guy to control. You can control him, you got the whole show, and he already got his number. So needless to say, this one was arranged by the Bush administration themselves, because they don't want the people voting at this point in time, at least not in that area of the world. Hey, they don't want anybody voting anywhere. And like I've said before, the only way, in my opinion, for this country to save face is for every single member of this administration to be charged with war crime charges. And you would think anybody worth a grain of salt would want exactly that. Because this isn't Republican or Democrat thing. This is a bunch of greedy ass oil men, capitalists in the government for what's in their best interest. They don't give a flying fuck about the general population of the United States. They believe more in bloodlines than you're a fucking peasant, if anything else. You can look at these shady motherfuckers and see what they're thinking. Look at Cheney. That motherfucker embraces being called Darth Vader. He's like, cool, they think I'm Darth Vader. I can run the world. He wears that like a motherfucking ribbon. Did you see his dog come Halloween? Hell, I think I'm not even get into going down into that gutter like they do. I can stick with reality and what has actually happened and do more damage than with a bullshit talking point half-ass joke like the right do. Like Giuliani does. Talk about a major fucking joke. And that's what gets me, well, when you start talking like I started talking about Ron Paul in the beginning of this and how good he's doing, is what gets me is how the media spins all that shit around. I mean, Chris Matthews trying to say every time Ron Paul opens his mouth, Giuliani picks it up and knocks it out of the park. I would say it's the other motherfucking way around. Every time Giuliani opens his mouth, or any other one of these neocon warmongering motherfuckers, Ron Paul bitch slaps reality back in their face and says, you know what? You're a bunch of lying bastards. And that's why everybody likes Ron Paul, and that's why he's created so much impact right now. He is bitch slapping them. And maybe if the Democrats were smart, they'd take a look at Ron Paul and maybe learn a little bit, grow a set of cojones. That's what you got to say about that old man. That motherfucker, he takes it to him, which is a good thing. It's a good thing for everybody's concerned. And Giuliani's a joke. I mean, his little dancing spiel he did about Hillary Clinton about flip-flopping. That motherfucker flip-flops more than anybody I've ever seen in my life. He's just as crooked as a dog hind leg, like a good old boy would say. But needless to say, kudos to Ron Paul and all his supporters. You guys have a good one and take care.